Yes, that is data modeling. So, sorry, I want to start recording so that we can always have the recording. Exactly. So that is data modeling, creating relationship between different tables. So I'll just tell us more about data modeling and give an example. So data modeling is just you having the ability to connect different tables together. So you're basically modeling your data by connecting multiple tables together, creating a relationship between different tables. So in order to buttress these points, I'm going to give us an example now. So just assume, for example, you work in, let's say, a company that has a sales department. Someone comes into your office and asks you, okay, uh, how well do you sell? So I'll just use this example. I love using that example. How well do you sell when it rains? Or how much do you sell more on a rainy day or on a sunny day? Just a question. You can just unmute your mic. How will you answer that question?
Please, can you take the
Sorry,
question
please,
again?
yes, can you repeat the question because I had to log in.
Okay. Okay. I said, for example, you're working in sales department of your company, and let's say your senior manager comes in and he asks you, so how well do you sell on a rainy day? Or let's put it like this, let me paraphrase it. Okay, do you sell more when it rains or when the sunny day? Do you sell on a sunny day or on a rainy day? So how will you be able to answer that question or reply the manager when you have the data set? What do you need to do to reply or to give an answer?
I think you need to determine the relationship between sales and the weather, and also the weather. So days that it rains and days that is sunny.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Is there another answer?
Yes, I also
Another
go in line
answer?
with Sandra. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
support what Sandra just said. And to add to that, I can also draw or maybe do a bar chart or a table showing the relationship between the weather and the sales for the period.
Okay, thank you. So we are all already thinking like data modelers. So in order to do that, what you have to do is you look at your sales table. You have a different table for your sales table. You have calendar table. So in that calendar table, it's the particular, okay, from this month, this is rainy season. These other months are for like your dry seasons. Then you now go to your calendar, okay, on this particular day, rain fell. So when you're not connecting those two tables, not say, okay, for this day, we can see that we made more sales on this day, and on this other day, we made less sales. That's why most times, if you see for someone that sells, maybe a petty trader, they'll tell you, okay, we don't really sell cold soft drinks or chilled soft drinks during the rainy season because during that period, a lot of people are looking for something hot, like maybe coffee, a hot cup of coffee, or to make themselves feel warm. So you notice during that period, notice they will sell more of like maybe let's say beverages rather than selling more of soft drinks. Maybe because of maybe their soft drinks are always in their refrigerator. So the person is already modeling because she's saying, okay, during this period, maybe I'll not need to put my drinks in the freezer or the refrigerator. What I just do, maybe I'll just keep it out because I know then people are looking for something hot to make themselves feel warm. So that's how you start data modeling. You're just connecting different tables. You have your sales table, you have, let's say, your calendar table, your day table, and your creating a relationship between those tables. Okay, this table should enter this table so that we'll be able to give an analysis or create a visualization that okay, on this particular day we sold more and on this day we sold less. Okay, so that is what an example of what data modeling is. So now I want all of us to get like a piece of paper. Let's get a piece of paper. So because today we're going to do something on a piece of paper, I'm going to tell you some steps you use to create your data model. Some steps to get your data model. So just get a piece of paper and a pen. So when you have your piece of paper and pen, you can just use the hand tool to raise up your hand. Once you have your piece of paper and pen, use the hand tool to raise up your hand.
Hello, Anaya.
Hello, can you hear me, Musin?
Yes, I can. I just want to confirm if everyone got the file I sent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask. You can go
S-
ahead. Ask everyone.
did we get the file?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So we're going to be writing down, let's say, I'll give you like 11 steps. So first of all, on your paper, I want you to just draw 5 columns. 5 columns. Then I want us to save that file Musin sent to us. Save it on your desktop or maybe under your downloads and open up that file. I think the name of the file is historical sales data. Open up that file in Excel. So I'll do the same. So when you've opened it up, you can use your hand tool. So we're going to be looking at the steps to building your data model. So when you're building your data model, there are steps to make sure you have a well-structured data model. So the first thing to do is step one, you can write it down. Step one, identify or report fields. Identify or report fields. You can write it down, identify or report fields. Identify or report fields. So what are your report fields? So your report fields are basically your column headers. They are basically your column headers. Your headers. So you can see my screen here. We have different column headers here. We have region, you have market, you have trade dates, you have fiscal period, you have model, you have line of business, you have day category, you have revenue, and you have units sold. So those are your column headers. So the first step is to identify all your report fields. So these your column headers are telling you what is in this your data model. table. They're telling you what is in your. So step one, where you've drawn that um table on your paper that has 5 columns, the first thing you write in the first column, for column one, the first thing you do is you write down all these your column headers. You write them down on step one. So let me just put my own step one. So
We can't
this is
hear
what
Maya
your table.
again.
No, sorry, I was not talking. So this is what your table should look
Okay.
like. Yes, this is what your table should look like on your paper. So you have step one, step two, step three, step four, step five. So if you've drawn this in your paper, you can just put it down. So I say for step one, identify all your report fields. All your report fields. So I say your report fields are your column header. And I want you to put them in step one, write them down in step one vertically. List them down in step one. So I'll do that for step one. You can see it. I have my region, I have my market, I have my store, my trade date, my fiscal period, my model, my line of business, day category, revenue sold, everything I have it in step one. So we just do that in step one. Now we go over to step two. Step two. So step two is categorize these fields. So now these fields we've listed in step one. We want to categorize them in step two. So in step two, what we want to do is we categorize them into a report line or a value field. Your report line or your value fields. So your report line are
Sorry,
mostly
Naya.
the. Hello, can you hear
Um,
me?
yes, please. Can you repeat step two?
Okay, so step two is categorize the fields. So all these fields that are listed in step one, categorize them into report lines or value fields. So step two, categorize the fields. These fields you've listed here. Remember, I would say step one is identify report fields. So step two says categorize the field into report line or value fields. So now your report line are mostly text, the text that give context to your aggregations or to your values. So those texts that give you more information about your data, that is what is your report fields. Then your value fields are basically things that you can sum, and when you sum, they actually make sense. So your value fields are aggregations. You can think of your value fields as things like money or money fields or simple count. You know, there are some things that are numbers but are not actually values. For example, now, if you have account number there, you might see it as, okay, let's say a value field since it's number, it's not a text. But if you sum two account numbers together, it it's not really, it doesn't really, I don't want to say make sense, but it's not really good. Like it doesn't make sense. Let me just use it like that. Because when you sum two account numbers, it's not going to give you anything meaningful if you're using it for reporting. If you say, okay, my date, since it's not a text, it's a value field, you sum 2 years together. When you try using it to report, it's not going to make any sensible report. So your value fields are things that when you sum them up, they act. You can use it for reporting. Fields that when you sum up, you can use it for reporting. So now I want us to look at my screen now. And can anyone tell me the value fields here? Look at my screen. What are the things I think should be the value fields from this your historical sales data? that we got. What should be the value
Revenue
fields?
and units sold.
Unit
Thank you.
sold. Yeah.
So to thank you. So we'll just call it V. So V for value fields and R for report fields. So the rest we'll just write arrow there. So here we'll put V and here we'll put V. So the rest we'll put arrow. So let's quickly do that.
Sorry, may I ask if we are doing this on our notes or on the Excel line?
You can do it on your notes or Excel, anyone that is better for you. Okay, so just do it on your Excel so that when you close, you save the file, you still have it there and you can always come back to it. But just give us 5 minutes to create this table in Excel. Not 5 minutes, sorry, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. When you're done, you can use the hand tool to raise up your hand. Okay, so let's move to step 3. Okay, let's see. 1 more minute before we move to step 3. Okay, now let's move to step 3. So for step 3, we are going to be focusing on only arrow. In step 3, we are focusing on only arrow. So step 3 is group your reporting lines into hierarchies. Group your reporting lines. So the ones that form a natural hierarchy. So just write for your step 3, group your reporting lines. Group reporting lines for step 3. Group reporting lines. So now, some of these are our report fields, which is our arrow. Some of these are our reporting lines. We have to group them into hierarchy. So some of these fields here, some of these are our column headers, they form natural hierarchies, and we need to group them together. Now, if you look at our data sets, let's go back to our data sets. You can see that there are some fields that are related somehow. They are related to each other. Like now, if you look at our region, market, and store, you can see they are related somehow. And what are they related by? They are related by location. North Central, Federal Capital Territory, Abaji. Now you have North Central, Federal Capital Territory, Gwagwalada. If you scroll down, you also see different locations. So you can tell, okay, North, where is Abaji? Abaji is in Federal Capital Territory, and what region are they under? North Central. So they are somehow related together. So let me give another example. For example, now, if someone mentions Ikeja, what comes to your mind when someone mentions Ikeja? Anyone? Where once they just say Ikeja, even though you're not staying in Nigeria, okay, let's assume a foreigner and they say Ikeja, Lagos. So now what country is Lagos found in?
Nigeria,
Nigeria,
And what's the
Nigeria,
continent?
Africa.
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 Exactly. So you can
Africa.
see now they are related together. Even if someone say, okay, I'm a fan of Manchester United. So what league can you find Manchester United? Anyone?
English league.
Premier League.
Premier League.
Premier League. Thank you. The English Premier League.
Premier League.
And yes, the Premier League is also found in England. Then even for PSG, you know, PSG is what is happening here. You're grouping the things that are related together. So I want us to do this together. So now, region, market, and store, they're related, right? So let's call them G1. We call all of them G1 since they're related. Remember, it's only our report lines we're categorizing. So you can just put the G1 for the three of them. So now after region, market, and store, what else do you think is related here? Anyone? Just look at it. So we can give them D2.
Date and fiscal
Fine.
period.
Okay.
Trade date and
So
fiscal period.
Trade date and fiscal period.
the date, fiscal period. What of day category?
Day category, yeah.
Yes.
Category,
Because
yeah.
from that date, you know if it's a work day. For example, if you see a transaction was made on May 27th, you know that May 27th is a public holiday. So that's why it's not a work day. And this person sold more because most people had to go to the amusement park. So that's why we made a lot of sales. So those are related together. So what about our model and our line of business? Are they related? Let's go to our table.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's talking about the kind of model, when you look at the model, the details of the model, and then the line of business, is it under service plan? What is that? Which line of business does that model belong to?
Okay, something. Let's see. Uh, let me go to more
The line of
service
business
plan,
looks
line
like
of
product.
business. Yes, well, let's try something. It's supposed to be related, but let's look at something now. So for copier sales, that's the first one. We can see everything is 2,500 C. Everything is 2,500 C for copier sales. Okay, so we can see that one is related. So let's go to parts. So each line of business is supposed to have a unique model code. So let's go to parts. Let's see. So parts, we have 3,200 C. We have 3,002 P. We have 4,055 T. So we have 5,001 P. So you can see we have different models for parts. So let's go to printer sales. So that's why sometimes it's printer sales. Everything for printer sales is the same. Let's go here and check. We still have 2005 P. Let's say printer sales is unique. Let's mute our mic. Let's go to service plan. Okay, service plan now. You can see service plan has 3002 P, which we also saw in copier parts. So let's see. So service plan here has 3002 P. Let's go to number 9. you can still see parts has 3002p. Parts has 3002c, number 7, and we also have 3002c. Sorry, we still have 3002c here. So, okay, look at it here. Then you can still see it here. You can see here and here. So it's supposed to be unique to each of them, but you can see that it's intersecting between most of them. So from this, I don't think model and line of business are related. Because if they are not, if they are supposed to be related, each one of them is supposed to have unique model codes. So for example, service plan, we say, okay, all the model codes for service plan should be 3002p. For printer sales, 2005p. For parts, 3002c. And for service plan, let's say 5001p. So sometimes it's just on particular to this data set or peculiar to this data set. So there are some data sets that the line of business and the model can be related. But just for this data set, just for only this one, the line of business and model are not related. So there are instances where both of them might be related. So sometimes it's just good to filter and check if they're actually related. So let's just say we'll give line of business, sorry, model, we'll call it D3, and then we call line of business D4. So you can just do that for model and line of business. So please remember, we are only working on V's for now. We're only working on our V's for now. Okay, so now let's go to step 4. Step 4. Identify your dimension keys. Identify your dimension keys or reporting keys. The keys of your dimension table. So now you see here we've created different dimensions. If you look at it, automatically we've created a dimension for region because you can see all of them are related together, or let's say location, dimension for location. All the D ones, they are related by location, so they'll form their own dimension or their own table. Then all the D2s, they are related by all the D2s, they are related by dates or time. So they'll form their own table because they are related by time. So you have your own separate date table. Then your D3, it's on its own to have its own table. Your D4, which is your line of business, it will be on its own because it has its own table. So that it has its own dimension. So we have already automatically created some dimensions here. You can see dimension by region, dimension by time, then for line of business and model. So let's go to our step 4. Step 4, identify your dimension keys. So in each of the fields where we group our reporting line, there are some fields there that has the lowest granularity, the no, lowest granularity, the lowest granularity, sorry. So it's just like saying, okay, there's a last born in the house. For example, you want to use the one that is the lowest. You want to use the lowest field in our reporting line. So what's our lowest field? You look at region, market, and store. That particular thing you can use to assess the elder ones or the ones that are bigger. That is your reporting key. For example, now if someone says Ghana makes, or let's say Canada makes
Stop.
20 million pounds. Thank you, store. I can still go ahead and ask the question. Um, what's the name of this place? Canada makes 20 million pounds per month. Can you actually tell the particular state that is giving that revenue or that creates amounts to such revenue, this number of states or the particular states? Can you tell anyone without knowing the states? Can you tell?
No.
Exactly. There are particular states. Let's say, for example, they say Toronto made this amount, this other state made this amount, or for example, in England, say Manchester made this amount, Liverpool made this amount. You can now tell, okay, is this particular state enabled us to make this amount, or these are the states that contribute the most to our national revenue. So now that is the lowest. So that one that is telling you, giving you more information about the larger one is the reporting key. So now for this our three dimensions here, for this our dimensions, that's region, market, and store. The reporting key is store. The reporting key is store. So now let's go to this our trade dates, fiscal period, and day category. Let's go back to our data sets. Our trade dates, our fiscal period, and our day category. What should be the reporting key for this dimension, the second dimension?
Trade
Anyone?
dates.
Trade trade dates. Thank you. So do you know why? Because from your trade dates, you can see here you have 1st of April 2014. You already have your dates, your months, and your day. So you can tell the particular day if it was a work day, the month, and the year. So it's giving you more information about the other attributes. So we can put our K for trade dates. Just put K for trade dates. Okay. For our model and line of business, since they do not have other fields related to them, we'll just give them K. Since they are their own reporting dimension keys. Sorry, they are their own dimension keys. They are their own dimension keys. So now let's go to step 5. So these keys that we just created, these dimension keys, those are what we use to connect to our bigger table. That's the main table, which is our fact table. So these are the keys for our dimension tables. So this is what we are going to use to connect or create relationship. Remember we said we are creating relationship in our data model. So this is what we are going to use to create relationship in to our fact table. That's the big table we'll be creating now. So now number 5, identify your fact table fields. Step 5, identify your fact table fields. Identify your fact table fields. So your fact table contains your daily transaction or activities. So those things that you know there are some tables every day in your workplace. You have a table. You are constantly updating that table. So that is your fact table. That table that contains your daily transaction or the activities you carry out every day, and it grows in size. That is your fact table. So the fields that make up your fact table are your dimension keys and your value fields. So the keys from your dimension and your value fields make up your fact table. That table that you're always adding more data into, adding your daily transaction and constantly it grows in size. So that is what makes up your fact table, your dimension keys and your value fields. So now for step 5, anywhere you have F, so anywhere you have K, you put F to represent your facts field, your facts fields, fact table fields, F, F. Then where you have your V, remember we said your R, your K and your V's make up your fact table fields. you always be loading into your fact table. You always be loading your dimension keys and your value fields. So that's what makes up your fact table. Okay, before we continue, so can anyone remind us of step one? What did we say our step one is?
Identify all report feeds.
Okay, step two. Any other person?
Categorize your
Step
field.
two. Okay, step three.
Group your reporting line into hierarchy.
Group your reporting line.
Thank you. Step four.
Identify your dimension.
Identify
Identify
your
them.
dimension.
Mention key.
Step five.
Identify your
Identify
fact table.
fact table.
Exactly. So now let's go to our step six. So our step six, you can just write it down. So that's what we'll be doing in Power BI now, to create your dimension tables. So step six, you create your dimension table. So let's open a blank Power BI file. Let's open a blank Power BI file. Let me open a blank Power BI file. Let's all open blank Power BI file. And then you bring in that historical sales data. Remember, we have a way of bringing it in.
I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead, Sandra.
Yes. So I wanted to ask if you have a data set that has maybe 1,000 columns or just big data, how do you go about it? So do you still have to go through these steps in creating your model?
Yes, you have to go through these steps. You just look at it, and by that time, before you start working on data that has like a large number of columns, I'm sure by that time you'll have been an expert. So you might not necessarily have to go through these steps. You just know that, okay, I know my report fields, just list them out. But it's best practice for you to follow through these steps so you don't make mistakes while trying to build your data model.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll be sharing my Power BI now. I'm having some issues with it. Okay. So let's bring in the file that we're working on. So we go to get data. Remember, everyone, to bring in, to connect your data source, you go to get data and click on Excel work. That's where you open it. Okay. Then remember, the file we want to work on is fact sales. Fact sales. So you tick only fact sales. Tick fact sales and click on transform data. Remember, when you want to clean your data, you go to Power Query. So we want to model our data. I want to create these our tables in Power Query. So let's click on transform data. We're going to step 6, which is to create your dimension tables. Okay, let me refresh. So please, if you're here, if you've been able to get into to raise up your hand. Okay, I can see only 4 hands up.
Half of my data has null.
Null.
Yes.
Which file did you bring in? Did you bring in fact sales?
Yes. I mean, fact sales, row 5, actually, I'm seeing null.
I think our
Oh,
data set is different.
let me check it. So I'll have to check my mail to see the file Musin sent. Sorry, Musin, can you confirm the file you sent to everyone? Let me see if it's quite different. Mm,
No, yeah, I think one of the participants can share their screen to see for us to see the file.
okay. Okay, that's fine. Can anyone share their screen? Everyone, please share your screen. Let me see the file. Anyone, you can just share your screen. So it's coming up. Okay. So why is your not rows 6? What is in your region there? Hello, Sandra?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can see your row 6, where you're supposed to have markets. Can you see where you're
Yes, I
supposed to have
can.
markets? Okay, so for markets, take that north central to region, everyone. North central to region. Then the market should be Federal Capital Territory. Then also for number row 9, also for row 9. Then row 7, where you have store, you put Abaji. Okay, so now go to Power BI and bring it in again. Let's see. Or just go to transform data or refresh. Refresh it. Go to refresh.
I have to
Your
close
Power
the
Query.
file first, right?
No, go to Power Query.
Okay.
Just Alt Tab to go to another your Power Query screen. You can share the Power Query so that
Okay.
yes, so you can see it. Okay, make sure you save your Excel sheets. Make sure you save the Excel workbook. Have you saved it?
I've not saved it yet.
Okay, Control S.
On that now.
Okay. So now can you see on your home tab there? Okay, sorry. Okay, saved. Your home tab, can you see refresh preview?
Yes.
After, yes, after manage parameter. So just click on that refresh preview and to update.
Okay, that's updated.
All right. So everyone
Thank
just
you.
click there and to update for you. Thank you. Okay. So are we all good?
Can you see the table again, please?
Sorry, share your screen. Maybe it could be that it's trying to refresh everything for you. I don't know why you can't see your table. So you can just share your screen, please.
So I mean, I want to see the table, those ones that you corrected.
Okay, the one we corrected.
Yes.
Okay. Have you corrected your row 7?
No.
So for row 7, where you have North Central,
Mm.
North Central is in your market. So take that North Central to Central should be not where you have region. Put it
Yeah, no central is the region.
there. Then for region, you put Federal Capital, and for store, you put Abachi. So you do the same for yes, no, sorry, and then you and refresh in Power Query.
Hello, man.
Hello, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, so, yes, good evening. So I'm wondering, when we look at that historical sales file, the only
Yes.
worksheet we're seeing is data. But when we
Yeah.
open Power BI, we're seeing fact um sales, right? I'm wondering, so was that a hidden worksheet, or how come it wasn't showing when we opened the file
So it's
itself?
not as if it wasn't showing. So if you look at it, okay, so let me close my Power Query. Not now. So let me go back to Power BI and show you something. So one of them is actually a table. One is just giving you a context. What's it? So let's see. Can you see it now? Can you see? This is what you have, right? Or what you had
Yes,
when you were trying to bring it in. So now can you see
yes,
this one has something like a blue line on top? Can you see?
yes,
That one is the actual table. That is the table. So this one is just like it's not really a table. It's just giving you the context of that data set. It's just the data set itself. So what Power Query majorly works with, or what is best for you to work with, is to work with tables. So that's why we say you should bring in the fact sales. This one is not a table. It's just the data on its own. So when you're bringing it to Power Query, to recognize this one, okay, do you want to work with it like this, or you want to work with it as a table? So that's why most times you convert it to a table. That's
okay,
why we picked the first one. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So now we go to step 6, which is create your dimensions tables. So in order to create our dimension table, what you do is you make a duplicate. Let's duplicate this our fact sales table 3 times. So once we share this our fact sales table into like 3 more tables, remember we have one for region, which is our trade dates, sorry, not our trade dates, our region, market, and store. So we have a dimension for them. You have one for dates, you have one for model, and you want have one for line of business. So let's duplicate this 3 times. Let's duplicate. So right click on fact sales and duplicate. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. Right click on fact sales and duplicate. So please confirm how many files the Musin sent to us. Anyone? How many files were sent to us? I want to check my mail to confirm that. You can just unmute your mic. How
Just
many
one.
files? Just one. Okay.
Just one.
Okay. Hello, Musin. Good evening. I don't know if Musin is on the call. So we're supposed to have another file for our dates. So maybe we'll just stop at creating our dimension tables today. So after we create it, then our next session will continue with connecting to our date table. I think that's what we'll do in our next class. So let's go to fact sales 2, the one you have fact sales 2. So let's rename it. You can right click to rename or you double click, remember? And let's call this our D region. So you can just say D underscore region or location. Remember, they're all related by location. So let's call it D location. Let's just call it D location. To come to fact sales 3, and we can just call it D model. Remember, we have one for model. Come to fact sales 4. And let's call it our D line of business. So short form, I'll just call it LOB, the line of business. So I want to create our first table for those that look or are related to region. So what are the things that we said are related to region, the dimension for region or location? So you can just go
Region
back,
market stock.
Region, market, and
market
store.
and store. So remember in our parkway, we have ways of removing columns. So just use your control or your shift key, click on markets and store. So mine control works for me. I can just hold control down, click on region, market and store. So make sure it's highlighted like mine. You have this amber color field for region, market and store. You right click and remove other columns. So the other columns we do not need, we remove them. We're just looking at the ones that are related to region. So let's remove other columns. Let's do that. So now, after we've removed other columns, you make sure that you will remove duplicates. Make sure you remove duplicates. So you may be able to get these tables from your IT department and connect them. So in order for us to have a very robust data, we'll create, I think we'll create our own date table. So let's see how fast we are able to finish this up and see if we have time to create our own date table since date table was not shared with us. So if we don't have time, then our next class will continue with creating our date table. So make sure you remove duplicates. So always remove your duplicates from your reporting key. It's best to remove duplicates for your reporting key. So since our fact file is the file that grows every day, you don't remove duplicates from it. So you only remove duplicates from our dimension. Only remove duplicates from our dimension tables so that each key that is connecting to the fact table will be unique. If you're connecting Abaji, it will be connecting to Abaji in your fact sales. So it is having like a one-to-many relationship. So we go to our store, right click, and duplicates. Right click on store alone, and remove duplicates. So you can see it's only unique for Abaji. We have only one Abaji there. We have Bari, we have Gwagalada, you have Kuje, you have Kwali, you have Ajakuta, you have Adavi, you have Demsa. So you can see now our D location is now unique. You have just for North Central, you have just 5 stores in Federal Capital Territory. So that's what we do. So let's go to our D model. And if you remember, the only table we need for D model is our model. The only column, sorry, we need is our model column. So right click and you remove other columns. Remove other columns. And then you also remove duplicates from your model. Right click and remove duplicates. So we have just 9 models. So you have 9 unique model codes. So now let's go to our line of business. D line of business. And then it's only our line of business we need. So we select line of business and we remove other columns. So right click and remove duplicates. So we have 4 unique line of business. 4 unique line of business, which is service plan, printer sales, parts, and copier sales. So now let's look at our D location. We check the data type. Is it correct? See, ABC is text. So everything for our D location is correct. We go to D model. The data type correct. It is correct because it's text. Our D line of business, check, is it correct? It's correct. Remember our D model? Yes. So now let's go to our fact sales. This is our main fact table. Let's go to our fact sales. So how many columns? What are the columns we need? Remember we created a sheet for that in our Excel. So anyone can you tell us the column we need? The column we need or the columns we are taking out. Let's look at the columns we are taking out. So the ones we didn't put F for, we are taking them out. So can anyone tell us the ones we are removing?
Region.
Yes, so go to region. So right
Markets
click on
or
region,
Market.
remove
markets.
region to markets, you remove. So another way of doing this is, let me just cancel this step. Let me show us another way of doing this. You can click on choose columns. Choose columns. Can you see up here? Choose columns. So instead of, because if you have a large data set, it's not advisable to be removing it one by one. So you also have remove columns. So let's just click on choose columns. So you can see here, choose the columns to keep. So we don't need fiscal period, we don't need day category, the trade dates, store, model, line of business, and click OK. Let's click OK. So you see, it was even faster for us than removing it one by one. So I will just go over it again. So come to choose columns. To choose columns up here. In your home tab, choose columns. Choose the columns you want to work on. So we're going to remove the ones we don't want. So we untick region, untick market, untick fiscal period, untick day category, and we click OK.
Yeah, we need a budget. We need revenue.
So let's do that. Okay, so now let's check the data type for each of them. Go to store, you can see it's text. So auto detect. So let's go to transform. I'll just click on control and click on this, click on all of them. Go to transform tab, the second tab, and can see any column group. Can you see any column group? Any column group? So detect the data type for us. So we can just check, click on detect data type. So it's still giving us the same data type, and I don't want this data type. So I'll just do it manually, because sometimes Power Query can be really funny. So what data type do you think we should give to our revenue? Our revenue. Any accountant in the house, what data type do you think we should give to revenue? Sorry, what did you say? Your line is breaking. Hello?
I think decimal number will be okay.
Fixed decimal. Okay,
I said
thank
I
you.
think decimal number.
Fixed
Okay,
decimal
decimal.
number.
Let's check decimal. Let's see which one. The decimal is not giving you all your kobles. So let's try using fixed decimal since it's kind of like currency. So you know, All these zeros that are here now, these two zeros, 0.00, they are very important for reporting for those that are accountants. They want to see their last kobo. And if you go to places like ShopRite, sometimes you see something they put 9.99. So you don't just approximate it because they need that money you are cutting out is going to affect the data some way. It might increase it or it might reduce something there. So that's why we are using fixed decimal since it's revenue. We leave it. Then for units sold, unit sold is always 1 1. So you can leave unit sold as you can leave unit sold as the data type as whole number. Whole number. So for trade dates, let's go to trade dates and check it. So data type is correct, is date. Is date.
Sorry, my own does not have decimal number. After I changed the revenue,
We change it to
there's
what?
something I
Fixed
didn't do right.
decimal.
Yes.
Can you please share your screen? Stop sharing.
Let me ask someone else because I'm using my laptop. I'm connected on the phone. I'll ask
Okay,
someone
okay,
later.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now waiting.
No,
Okay, can I
I
go
said I'll
ahead?
ask someone later. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so now what we do is let's go to our home tab in Power Query, and let's click on close and apply. Click on close and apply. So we're taking it into Power BI where you can start creating reports. Close and apply.
Sorry, what? Where did you say we should go?
Okay, let me go back to in your Power Query, go to your home tab. Remember, we're on our transform tab. That's where we're able to remove or choose the columns we wanted. So go back to your home tab. You see the first command there. Close and apply.
I can't see that.
Okay, I'm coming. I'll go back to Power Query now. So can you see your home tab?
Yep.
Can you see close and apply here? See it.
Okay.
Close and
Yep.
apply. It's creating your relationship for you. Okay. So now remember we said in our first our first class that when you load your fields in or when you load your data in Power BI, you see it here. You see the table in fields. So if you look at our fields now, you can see all the tables we created, they're here. So this is what you use to create your visualization. You can see the line of business, the location, the model, and fact sales. You can see it under fields. You now see your visualizations. You can use it to start creating some visuals. So who can remind us of these three views we have here? so that I can show us a few things before we round up for today. What are these views?
We have the report view,
Report
data
view,
view, and the model view.
data view, and
Yes.
model view.
So now click on the data view and see look at your data view. You can see under fields. Now, once you click on that particular table, you see everything for that table. If I click on the line of business, you can see what are the things I have for line of business. You can see them here. The location, you can see the different things in the location. You can see your region for column, your column for region, for market and store. The model also, you can see the column for model, fact sales. You can see your column for store, for trade dates, model, line of business, revenue, and units sold. So now let's go to our last view, which is our model view. Our model view. So we can see here that Power BI has automatically detected the relationship for us. Can you see now? It's creating relationship for you. So what is left now is our date table. So in our next class, we'll be bringing in our date table. We'll bringing in our date table, then we'll start creating reports. So you can see here, you have your D model table here, your D line of business, your fact sales, and your location. You can see it has created relationship for you. So it's telling you, okay, what is connecting this to this is your model. So I want you to hover on the line, hover on one line. You can see what is connecting these two tables is model. You can see the line here. It's showing you, okay, one thing is connecting to this here. That's why I see one to these many models you have in your fact sales. So hover on this other line for line of business. You can see it's connected to line of business. If you hover on this line also, you can see the fact sales connected to store here. Fact sales is connected to store here. Then you can see up here in this view, you can see manage relationships. So assuming when we were bringing it in, Power BI was not smart enough to give it the right relationship you want. It's not connecting to the particular thing you want it to connect. You just come to manage relationship and you work on that. So let's click on manage relationship and see how it looks like. You can see what it's showing. The active relationship between those two tables. It's showing you, okay, for this fact sales table, line of business is connecting to the line of business in this table. You see fact sales table, what is connecting to this model, and also model in your D model table. For your fact sales store, it's connected to the location store column in it's connected to your store column in your D location. So if you want to edit, you just come here, click on edit, and then you now change the relationship. You can come to fact sales, you select this table. Okay, this is my fact sales table, and I come to my D line of business, and then I'll just change the table. For example, let's select the location that has more, and I can just come here and say, okay, I want my store to connect to my store here. I'll just click on store and click on store here. And you can see it's telling you there's already a relationship between these columns. So if there was no relationship, you will have just been able to do it and maybe edit it. Or if I click on market, it's showing you, okay, this is a minute to minute, so it has to be store since your store is unique. So that's the way to edit relationship or to create new relationship if they are not correct. Can also use auto detect to detect it if it doesn't detect it when you bring it into Power BI. So that's what we'll be learning for today. That's what we'll be learning for
Sorry, can
today.
you go over that step again from edit?
Okay, so come to manage relationships. I'll just click on edit. Okay, now let me show you something. You can see now that our fact sales store is connected to this, and we need to edit it. So let's edit. So fact sales, and come to the location. So you come to store, let's click on store in fact sales. I'll click on store here. And click on OK. And just tick it's an active relationship. And click on close. Okay, it's doing twice. So I'll just right click on this one and delete. So because I've done it like how many times, that's why it's coming back again here. So let's do for line of business. Line of business in the LOB is not connected to fact sales. So edit, let's click on edit. I'll come to fact sales. I'll come to this select the LOB. I'll just click on line of business here in fact sales. This is what I want you to connect to. And I'll click on line of business here. And I'll click on OK. So it has created, can you see now? It has created a relationship for us here. Another way of doing it is just dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping. So let me show you another way of doing it. Let me just delete this. So instead of going through this long route of manage relationship, you can go through another way. So I can just come to the model here. Can you see the model? And you can also see model here. So you just come here, you click on this model, drag it and put on top model in your fact sales. So just try it. Model, you drag it and put on top model in fact sales. That's if your own is not connected. So I deleted my own so that I can show you another way of doing it.
How did you delete it, please?
Okay, right click on that line. Right click on the line that is connecting them and click on delete. So in case it creates a relationship that is wrong for you, you can just right click on the line and delete it. So just come to model, you drag it and put on top model in your fact sales.
Why
To
is
create a
your revenue
relationship.
and unit sales showing some? My own is not showing some.
It's not showing some here.
Yes.
Like this summation sign revenue. It's supposed to show that,
Yes.
except it's you can remember this in Power Query you said it was not able to change something. So maybe that could be the cause. Maybe you just try it again. Musin will send the
Okay.
recording to everyone, so you can just try it again during the week. If there's any error, just let us know.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So thank you everyone. Is there any question? Any question before we end this session for today?
My question is, how are we to save this work now? Like the last week we
just
did
go to
as well.
file.
Yeah.
Just go to file. See save. You can click on save as and you give it a name. So today's class was data modeling. You can just call it data modeling class. And just maybe you can save it on your documents. I just save it in documents. Click on save. I can see the name up here.
Okay, so on this canvas.
Yes.
Yes,
So
I'm
just go to
wondering.
file. Okay, go ahead, Ma. Sorry.
Sorry, I think when you're done with that file stage.
No, you okay, no, you can go ahead. I'm done. Just
okay, you have page 1, right?
yes.
For this one.
Yes.
But when we were when we were doing the modeling, we had all tables, and then there's that plus sign. At what point do you click on that plus beside the all tables? When would that be
Okay,
needed?
this beside this page, this plus sign here.
Yes, yes, yes. When do
Okay,
you need
so
that
now
plus
if you're creating a report, and because
sign?
this is a blank canvas, so you can just have like only four visuals here. So you can just put four
Okay,
visuals, and then this page will be filled up. So you know there are some
okay,
reports you have to create different pages. You can say, okay, this one is for executives, this one is for HR. So you just
okay,
come here and you add another page. Yes.
okay, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Understood. Thank you
So is
very
there
much.
another question? Thank you. Another question before we round up. Okay, so just save the file, and then in the next class we'll continue from here. So I don't know if Musin is here. Would you like to say anything before we end today's session? Hello, Musin. I don't think he's
Hello.
okay.
Hello, sorry.
Can't really hear you. Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, apologies. I'm running a number of things together. Thank you very much, Naya. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone. Well done. It's really not easy staying this late to learn a number of things, but we appreciate the drive. And for those of us that were able to make it down yesterday, seeing us was awesome. Thank you for the time spent together. And we hope we would have more things to do together, hopefully. So thank you very much, Noye. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you in the next session. And Musin will also be sending the recording for how to clean 33 and 4. And then for also this session, we'll also be dropping the link for that. Thank you, everyone. See you next week, Saturday. So we'll be meeting next week, Saturday. Thank you. Do have a lovely night's
Thank
rest.
you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, too.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you,
Nice.
Bye.
Muslim.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
And